discussed the discourse surrounding Angel Reese comments after the loss to Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes. In the post-game press conference, Reese spoke about some of the noise and the ills that accompany stardom, which were officially birthed in the Final Four last season against Caitlin Clark. There has been many think pieces published in the following days. However, the discussion between Joy Taylor, Emmanuel Acho, Taylor Rooks, and now Ryan Clark is going viral on social media. Just to refresh your memory, let's dive into what Angel said.
I don't really get to stand up for myself. I mean, I have great teammates. I have a great support system. I got my hometown. I got my family that stands up for me. I don't really get to speak out on things just because I just try to ignore, and I just try to stand strong. Like, I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I've been attacked so many times. Death threats. I've been sexualized. I've been threatened. I've been so many things, and I've stood strong every single time. And I just try to stand strong for my teammates because I don't want them to see me down and, like, not be there for them. So I just want them to always just know, like, I'm still a human. Like, all this has happened since I won the national championship, and I said the other day I haven't had peace since then. And it sucks, but I still wouldn't change. I wouldn't change anything, and I would still sit here and say, like, I'm unapologetically me. I'm going to always leave that mark and be who I am and stand on that. And hopefully the little girls that look up to me, and hopefully I give them some type of inspiration that, hopefully it's not this hard and all the things that come at you, but keep being who you are, keep waking up every day, keep being motivated, staying who you are, staying 10 toes, don't back down, and just be confident.
Next, we're going to examine Acho's commentary surrounding Angel Reese. And to put it in perspective, we're going to revisit Angel Reese telling a UCLA coach to watch her mouth and also embracing the villain role.
UCLA, who had a lead with under 3 minutes to go, falls short as LSU.
It's fun to be the good villains. I mean, we're the villains, so it's so much fun. I mean, everybody wants to come and play LSU, like, every single night, and knowing that we have to come out there and lace our shoes up and play hard. Nobody's going to lay down to it.
I'm about to give a gender-neutral, racially indifferent take. Now, if you want to say, well, Acho, cater your take based upon gender, Acho, cater your take based upon race, I will understand that. But I'm about to give a gender-neutral, racially indifferent take. Angel Reese, you can't beat a big bad wolf, but then kind of cry like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Because if you want to act grown, which she has, if you want to get paid like you grown, which you are, if you want to talk to grown folks like you grown, which you did post-game when you told a coach for an opposing team, watch your mouth. If you want to tell people get your money up, then post-game when you take an L, you just got to take it on the chin. Nobody mourns when the villain catches an L. And Angel Reese, you have self-proclaimed to be the villain. Shout out to you, because you were the second best basketball player on the court, and it was not close. Outside of Caitlin Clark, it was you. 17 and 20, dog. Showed up, biggest game, second biggest game of your career. Absolute dog, but you can't under any circumstance go to the podium and now try to ask for individuals to give you sympathy. No one has sympathy for the villain. You painted the bullseye on your back. Why are you surprised when people shoot at you? So if you want to act grown, if you want to pose grown, if you want to talk grown, if you want to talk to grown folks grown, then you got to take the L like you grown. Because what frustrated me is when you want to be the villain, but you want to hope for sympathy like a hero.
On the same episode of Speak, Joy Taylor spoke at great length about the challenges faced by Angel Reese while addressing the influential components of gender and race in this matter.
I'll say this. I really enjoy villains. I like villains. I like villains more than most. But why is she a villain? Because of what she does on the court?
She said she was.
Who made her the villain?
She said she was the villain.
Self-proclaimed.
Who made her the villain? Because someone made her the villain, and it wasn't her. She was being herself and bragging the same way that all athletes brag when they win, when they hit a big shot, when they do this. I've seen it a million times. But we don't talk about them the way that we talk about Angel Reese. So it's very easy to say that we're just going to eliminate the fact that she is a young girl and eliminate the fact that she is a black girl and eliminate the fact that she's an unapologetic black girl. We could take all that out. I love playing the we don't see color game. We don't see gender game. Let's do that. Do we talk about men who brag after winning or hitting a big shot the way that we talk about Angel Reese? I'll clear it up for you. We don't do segments about that because it's very common. We're used to seeing it. It's absorbed differently. There's an expectation of how Angel Reese is supposed to act. The reason we know that is because of the reaction that we got from her. And when she did that to Caitlin Clark last year, people didn't like it. Men do that all the time. Joe Burrow, we could pull up so many clips of men doing this, and this, and this, and this, and this.
What about the?
We ask for a lot of authenticity from players. We ask for the real. We ask for emotions. We ask for interviews. We ask for not the cans. Yeah, congrats to Caitlin Clark in Iowa. I'm gonna make my decision next year. Appreciate you all coming out. We just didn't play our best today. You know, we could have been better. We didn't play our best today. We could have on to Cincinnati, right? We don't like that, right? We want the real. We want the interviews. We want the authenticity. We want the emotion. But then when we get that, don't do that. Don't do that. Be the person that we've put you up here to be. Be the person that someone else said you were because you gloated, because you did something that men do all the time. What I'm trying to say is she didn't make herself the villain. She showed up unapologetically herself in the same way that men do all the time.
But that's everybody,
every Tuesday night in January. No, they don't. They don't get the same thing. I've been doing this in some capacity since 2007, almost 20 years. I know everything that I say, how people are going to react to it. I can predict it almost to a dime. If I post something, if our show posts something, I know what the comments are going to be. I'm prepared for that. And that doesn't make it any easier. When I talk about some of my experiences to people, they can't believe the things I'm saying. They cannot believe the things that I experience. And I don't talk about them because I am unapologetic and brash and I stand on what I say and I get it. But this is a young person. If we want to take all the racial and gender components and all that out of it, this is a young person.
I got a question
for you. Is it weak or is she having a new experience? And I hear you. It's great to brag and then stand on it. But everyone didn't assign themselves the villain role. I assigned myself the villain role. I knew when I stepped into this space that people weren't gonna like me. I take it as a badge of honor if I say something that people don't like, because that means I'm moving you. I'm supposed to talk for a living. I should say things that are compelling and everyone shouldn't agree with you. All I'm saying is, if we want authenticity, we cannot then immediately persecute it. You can say that you don't like that she didn't take the L the way that you like. But what this would have taught her, this would have taught me as a young person, cool. You're gonna get exactly what I give you. You're gonna get the bare minimum from here on. Because if I'm honest about my experience, which by the way, everyone is not having Angel Reese's experience. Angel Reese is different than Juju. Angel Reese is different than Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese has experienced different things in the public space than other people have. Do your research, she has.
Taylor Rooks called out Emmanuel Acho. Her and Joy Taylor recently started a podcast together, and it's evident that Rooks has Taylor back, as she commented on X saying, "Respectfully, colleague, the disappointing thing about this take is you actually can't have an informed opinion on this if you're choosing to be gender neutral and racially indifferent, because that is impossible. Her existence as a black woman shapes both how she is seen by others and how she sees the world, and in this case, how she is seen by you. Your response here is actually full of opinions that indirectly and directly involve both race and gender. It's just coded to unsuccessfully soften the blow. You have to ask why Angel became the villain. You have to ask why her role as villain has not allowed her to also be human. You have to wonder why her being asked a question and simply answering has led to this level of discourse. You have to ask what you mean when you say Angel wants to talk grown or pose grown. What is grown a substitute for? You have to ask why trash talking, a practice many athletes engage in, is seen so much harsher when it comes from someone that looks like her. You have to ask how some of the ideas you express fuel the fire of the aforementioned marginalization. You have to ask why you heard her discuss unacceptable treatment and your reaction was to discuss how she can't address it. And I have to ask, if you spoke to any black women athletes about their experiences in order to give a more enlightened take before you came and said this. Angel has absolutely made herself a public figure, and she should be open to criticism pertaining to her game and persona. She should also be allowed to express when those criticisms are out of bounds. Why did you cling to her reaction as opposed to the vitriol that has caused it? She certainly does not deserve sympathy for losing a game. She deserves sympathy for being attacked and targeted for things outside of said game. As much as you believe this to be a take without bias, your reasoning proves the point you are fighting against. Opinions are opinions, and everyone is entitled, but our opinions are shaped by the paradigms we know. I hope no one says they're taking out gender and race, because in a black woman's world, we do not have that choice. I hope you realize your luxury and privilege by being able to say what you said. I hope you look around and notice the people that have delighted and applauded seeing a black man get on television and give this opinion on a young black woman, because it's not for the reasons you think. That's my take. Ron Clark of the Pivot Podcast and ESPN also chimed in on Acho's latest take on Angel Reese, and this is what he had to say via X. Not sure how you can tell someone how to walk in shoes that don't fit you. Sometimes when folks try to be too intelligent, they say the dumbest ish. In the real world, we can build heroes without creating villains. This ain't a freaking movie. The hardest part of business is minding your own. I'm working on that.
12.3 million people watched LSU Iowa. Those same 12 million people didn't tune in to every Caitlin Clark game. It was a reason why it was those two teams. And I think the first thing is, when you look at a lot of the things posted or written about the anthem, it always went along with "as Iowa stood hand in hand," because that's the picture that they wanted to paint. LA Times comes out with an article, and Ben Bolch, eventually he wrote it. He comes out and apologizes because it was before the UCLA game. UCLA versus LSU, America's sweethearts versus its basketball villains. Because they've wanted to paint these girls as villains, but why? 100%, Caitlin Clark is great for women's basketball. Her skill is great for women's basketball. The tenacity and competitiveness that she plays with, the way that she talks trash is good for basketball. And so is Angel Reese. Her skill, the way she plays, her competitiveness, the way she talks trash, the way she stands up and is proud of who she is. And because these girls are proud of who they are, something that the way they've been marginalized and devalued as black women, the world has told them they shouldn't be proud. So they have a problem that she is. And when you look at the comparison of the two, they're the same. Angel Reese talks about how much she loves Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark talks about how much she respects Angel Reese. That's what the game needs. And then there are people who want to point to the anthem as if there was some anthem karma that befell the Louisiana State University women's basketball team. It had nothing to do with the anthem. It had to do with Caitlin Clark and the fact that she could shoot it from out of bounds. That when she walk into the arena, that's her range. But instead, people want to point to that and say that that is a reason. Hey, just want to break some news to y'all. We have learned, don't nothing change for doing nothing at the anthem. You can kneel, not be out there. Folks ain't going to change. If anything, it's going to give folks an opportunity to say more negative things about you. But miss me with like all the selective outrage, because I'm more than sure that everybody that raided the Capitol on January 6th, 2021 stood for the anthem the entire damn year. And when it came to them and they felt like they had been wrong because their guy lost, they felt like they wanted to act out in a certain way.
Right.
And so now, because these girls were not out there, which Chessa Boucher, who writes on LSU and covers LSU all season, says that is their routine. If you wanted to believe Kim Mulkey when she said she mentioned Angel Reese when it was the Cardoso fight in South Carolina because of height, believe her now when she says it's just routine. Let these girls be great. They are amazing for basketball. The reason people tuned in was because, yes, Caitlin Clark represents something, but so do these young ladies. And there's a faction of people who don't want them to do that. Let it be a great game. Let it be watched by 12 million, and let it be that the better team won. It had nothing to do with the anthem, and nobody was trying to take a stand on anything. As an LSU alum, I am so proud of you girls. Thank you for all you were in the purple and gold. Thank you for everything you did the last 2 years. Thank you for changing women's basketball forever. What you did for our school will never be forgotten. You are all true legends, and we will forever support you.
Acho then responded via X to the backlash he's been receiving for his comments. He says, "Dear level-headed friends, please know I always speak out on racial and gender bias, one of the few on TV to speak on it. I have also consistently publicly supported Angel through it. However, I don't blindly support anyone. I assess every situation individually and then speak." He goes on to say, "Also, just because you disagree with one individual's actions one time does not mean you hate them. The job is to be an analyst, not a fan, which means your opinions must shift as actions shift. For those in doubt, here's proof. And under that post, he has screenshots of times he's been supportive of Angel Reese during this process. It's so much to unpack here, but I will attempt to keep it short as possible. Reese has emerged in a public space in a way we haven't seen for a college female athlete. What I'm mostly referring to is the urban space. If you look at her appearance, it isn't hard to envision a world where Angel Reese becomes a full-time model someday, an ambassador for top-line cosmetic brands and the whole nine. Part of what has thrust her in front of the limelight has created many detractors. Acho may get himself in trouble when he attempts to ignore color, but it's fair to say the take he gave exists amongst a large group of people. The take that Joy and Taylor had is also reflective of a much larger group. As for Reese, no hard feelings, but this is a part of the limelight. No knock to her, she's a kid, she's only 21 years of age. Some of things that are important to her now won't be prioritized in the same way 5 years from now. She seemingly had a breakup with her boyfriend in recent weeks, and it was a ball of emotion up there at that podium. We can never turn a blind eye when someone makes allegations of being sexualized or receiving serious threats on their lives. Many people think losing to Caitlin Clark triggered her to attempt to change the narrative and conversation, which is why many aren't buying into it. It's important to remember, as I said before, she's 21. She is a superstar and is instrumental in the progression of the women's game. That exchange in last year's Final Four was very much necessary to even have the conversations we are having today. It has created a rivalry, unless somehow, of course, they end up on the same WNBA team. Without those two, the eyeballs aren't on the game the way it is now. Paige Bucher's matchup with Caitlin is highly anticipated. The next 3 years of Juju Watkins' college career will be pivotal. The storyline of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese has casuals glued on the women's game. Emmanuel Acho warning should be heeded by Reese. Choose your words carefully when embracing the villain role. With failure comes 10 times the scrutiny. Instead of devaluing his gender race neutral take, extract the valuable components. Whether it is fair or not that those takes exist is irrelevant. The fact is they do. So now those in Reese's circle have to figure out how to navigate those waters. Joy and Taylor can connect emotionally with Reese in a way that Acho cannot, being a woman of color. The emotional aspect can't be overlooked, as many may forget she's a young black woman from Baltimore, Maryland with big dreams. Sometimes your journey includes things you didn't sign up for, and that can be hard to process at 21. However, I think Reese will learn from this and calculate her moves differently over time. The most important thing for Reese to navigate, in my opinion, is use of social media. Make it mainly business and brand deals being posted on your page. Limiting the amount of personal things shared could be beneficial, as some have attempted to use some of her older content to justify the sexualization. One thing's for sure, Angel has built a massive following and her stardom has just begun. Let me know how you feel about this topic in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.
Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down.
I'm not going to take it down.
Skip, 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 skip.